Well, let's bring in our Monday night political panel, former Chief of Staff to Bill Shorten, Cameron Milner, and former Howard advisor David Gazard. Great to see you both as always. Well, I want to return to this epic spray that Ray Hadley had about Anthony Albanese on Friday morning because it was so spot on. Let's recap.
It's just infuriating. It's infuriating. It makes you just dead set angry to even contemplate that we are led by a pack of cowards. A pack of cowards. Anthony Albanese. I thought he might make a go of it. He is the worst Prime Minister we've ever had. The worst.
Quite the spray. Cameron, what do you reckon? Do you agree?
Well, it was the spray, wasn't it? And Ray Hadley's reflecting what his own viewers and what we're seeing in polling, Shari. He's seen as weak, fundamentally weak, in tough times when he's strong leaders and Albanese is giving us complete weakness. But he's also wounded, which is why people are after him, why the attack is being placed on Albanese. So Albanese is like a wildebeest in the savannah, further and further back in the pack, ageing, stumbling from Clifftop Mansion to Qantas upgrade. He's wounded and he's weak, and there's certainly the scent of blood about him in terms of where people are going after him, and no wonder Ray Hadley gave him the spray.
He said he was lower than a snake's belly, David Gazard. I mean, this perception of Albanese, accurate perception, I would say, is starting to cut through with voters.
We haven't seen a Prime Minister sort of in the same position really for quite some time, without a sign that he's going to be able to recover. And his numbers have been steadily sliding now for a year. He's faced with a number of intractable problems, and you just don't know how Anthony Albanese will turn the corner. Now, Ray Hadley, he's been around for a while. He's seen a lot of PMs. He is leaving 2GB. He's been very influential. So he can sort of speak his mind without any recriminations, I would imagine, but he's certainly let fly there, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, I think all of us can speak our mind, and we hope that there would be no recriminations at all. But, you know, he is coming up to the end of his time in radio, Ray Hadley, and this is what he thinks of Albanese. Cameron Milner, you've written a column tonight in the Nightly where you don't hold back either. You talk about the Prime Minister going on many overseas trips and just not paying enough attention to the issues that matter here in Australia. Can you expand on that for us?
Well, he knew the US presidential election was going to be on, and so that was a known thing. He knew when APEC was on, knew when G20 was on. But he scheduled Parliament at the same time, so he didn't have to turn up to work, Shari. This bloke's half a world away, you know, getting back slaps and hugs from Trudeau and others, and, you know, being told about how he's made in China by President Xi. Well, no, he should be back here doing his job. He should be back here taking questions in Parliament. I mean, this bloke is a guy who's absent from work, half a world away. And people and Australians are going to see that and they're going to vote for it. They're not going to tolerate someone who's not on the job 24/7 fighting the cost of living.
Yeah, it's extraordinary just how much of Parliament he is missing. But meanwhile, the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, has attacked Peter Dutton on air this morning after that poll that I was just speaking about before, showing Dutton would be more effective at handling Trump. Have a look.
I think when it comes to Peter Dutton, I think he has a kind of a reckless arrogance which doesn't lend itself to foreign policy and maintaining and managing some of these complex relationships. I think he would be a risk to our economy. I think that kind of reckless arrogance doesn't lend itself to managing these relationships.
David Gazard, I think this is the key point. Labor's entire pre-election strategy was on playing the man with Peter Dutton, but it's not going to work.
Look, they've tried this before with Scott Morrison and were successful from opposition. They effectively assassinated his character. So, I mean, what you do when you've got an unpopular leader is you can't reverse the fortunes and make people like him. So what you do is you drag the other bloke down to a point that he's lower than him. And that's what they managed to do. I mean, Scott Morrison was seeking a fourth term, which is always difficult. And you can do that from opposition. It's a lot more difficult to do that from government. People expect you to govern. People expect you to take responsibility for where things are at. And I think, you know, this has been 6 months of Peter Dutton. Peter Dutton's the fault of all the problems in society. Peter Dutton's missed the economy. Like, you just kind of want to shake him and say, you've got to govern now. This is your job to govern. So I think we're in the same template now as we were before the last election. They want to drag Peter Dutton back, and you're going to see a mother of all scare campaigns between now and the election, whenever that may be.